Good morning. Welcome to Wednesday, the last Wednesday of this month, February 26th, 2025. I was like looking at my calendar. Things are acting a little funky this morning with my internet. I think in the area we have like some stuff going on, but we won't let that deter us. We got to keep going. So, therefore, if anything funky happens, you already know. So, good morning, you guys. How are you doing? Good morning from the Eastern Standard States here in the South Florida. Welcome to today. I hope that your day is going just pimpy. And like I always say, give it a few more hours, a few more days, or maybe a few more months, and things will change. Just give yourself some time, give yourself some space. Everything is going to be okay. Everything is going to work out, whatever it is. Uh, I know one thing for sure. Whatever season you are in, it is here. It is here temporarily. Temporarily. So don't fret, my pet. Don't fret, my pet. I heard that in some movie. What movie did I hear that in? I don't even know, you guys. I don't even know. So, welcome to part three of our Black History special, Black Leaders Who Embody Emotional Intelligence. That's our baby around here, right? That's our tool around here, right? So, Black leaders who embody emotional intelligence. That's what we're talking about. This entire month, we've been covering from Viola Davis to our amazing President Barack Obama to Lisa Nichols to Denzel Washington. Like, we covered a lot of people, you guys. We covered a lot of people. We covered Dr. Maya Angelou, Serena Williams, Colin Kaepernick, Issa Rae. We covered some people. We covered a lot. If you missed it, you're gonna have to go and watch the all the recording. So go watch it. Go watch it. It's good information. Go watch it. It's good information. So today is we're going to be talking about these amazing leaders. And this is our last. Okay? This is our last. This is it, because this is the last week of the month, you guys. This is it. So we're going to be talking about the wonderful Michelle Obama. We're going to be talking about Frederick Douglass. We're going to be talking about Tanasi Coates. Hopefully, I'm saying his name right. And of course, Oprah, right? Got to cover Oprah. And then, of course, the wonderful late John Lewis. So we got a lot to cover today, and it's not going to be as long, but it's going to be definitely worth it. So let's cover our first person that we have on this conversation, the wonderful Michelle Obama. Did you guys read her book, Becoming? I'm in the middle of her book right now, and I'm just loving it. Actually, there's a quote from her book that I wanted to read to you guys that I thought was wonderful. She said in her book, was everyone on earth is carrying around a scene of history. Everyone around is carrying around with them a scene of history, and that alone deserve some tolerance. So, we're talking about Black leaders that embody emotional intelligence. And the four components of emotional intelligence is self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management, right? They used to be five. They condensed them down to four, but it still covers all five, right? So when we talk about Michelle Obama, we remember her for the amazing quote that she shared: "When they go low, we go high." With her grace, she has resilience, always elevating others, especially to, I mean, students, education, students, the ones that are coming behind, that are going to be the ones that are actually leading this world, right? Our youths. She embodies, she loves them. So Michelle Obama has consistently responded to adversity. And just imagine all the stuff that she went through while she was in the White House, right? With dignity, with calm, just like President Barack Obama, demonstrating that rising above negativity, not focusing on the negativity, being more powerful in her form, with emotional regulation. So she embodied perfectly that second step of emotional intelligence, which is emotional regulation. And then empathy and compassion through her initiatives, her education, talking about education and health, for the empowering others. Always, she has shown us, she has, a masterclass in how to be completely genuinely caring for someone without looking for something in return, supporting the communities around you, and then inspiring change to come along with that. So, quite a bit. And then, of course, her advocacy for inclusion. Everybody, everywhere. Everybody, everywhere. Her focus on, uplifting voices and creating opportunities for all, for every single person, is her amazing commitment to emotional intelligence, which bridges gaps and fosters unity. So her philosophy with going high, if you think about it, it serves as kind of like a model for transforming conflicts into opportunities and growth, looking beyond what the person is saying and not feeding into what everybody else would be feeding into, that low vibration. She didn't have time for low vibration. Michelle Obama did not have time for low vibration. No, 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 no. So I wanted to share a video of her speaking to, I think it was her last address to students, and I wanted to share that with you guys. I'm not sure if it's going to play. I hope it plays. So let me put this up in here, and hopefully it plays.
The vast majority of our tuition came from loans and grants. But let me tell you, every month, my father would write out his small check. He was determined to pay his portion of that tuition right on time, even if it meant taking out loans when he fell short. See, when I first set foot on campus, oh, it all seemed so big and overwhelming. I didn't even know where to start, how to pick out the right classes, how to even find the right buildings. So I began to think that maybe all those doubters might have been right. I didn't even know how to furnish my own dorm room. I saw all these other kids moving in all sorts of couches and lamps and decorations for their rooms, but when I unpacked my belongings, I realized that I didn't even have the right size sheets for my bed. Mine were way too short. So that first night, I stretched the sheets down as far as they could go. Then I draped the covers over the foot of my bed. So when I crawled into bed, my legs were sticking out past the sheets, rubbing up against that cold plastic mattress. And I slept that way for the entire freshman year. But when you come from a family like mine, that's what you do. You make the most of what you got. Yeah, you use all that good common sense, and you don't make excuses. You work hard, and you always finish what you start. And no matter what, you give everybody a fair shake. And when somebody needs a hand, you offer yours. See, those are the gifts my parents gave me, their values. And I quickly learned that those gifts were far more valuable than money or connections. Because once I got to college, I found that when I applied all those values to my studies, I was able to develop an entirely new set of skills that I would use for the rest of my life. Skills like resilience, problem solving, time management. I learned to turn stumbles and missteps into sources of motivation. A week with 3 tests and 2 papers wasn't a reason to stress out, but a reason to plan. A negative comment from a professor in class wasn't a reason to shut down, but a reason to ask even more questions. Most importantly, I realized that what really mattered wasn't how much money my parents made or what those people in my high school said about me. What mattered was what was in my mind and what was in my heart. So my 4 years in school gave me the confidence to know that if I could make it on a college campus, I could make it anywhere. And that is the power of hope. The belief that something better is always possible if you're willing to work for it and fight for it. It is our fundamental belief in the power of hope that has allowed us to rise above the voices of doubt and division, of anger and fear that we have faced in our own lives and in the life of this country. Our hope that if we work hard enough and believe in ourselves, then we can be whatever we dream, regardless of the limitations that others may place on us. The hope that when people see us for who we truly are, maybe, just maybe, they too will be inspired to rise to their best possible selves. That's the kind of hope that every single one of us, politicians, parents, preachers, all of us, need to be providing for our young people, because that is what moves this country forward every single day. Be focused, be determined, be hopeful, be empowered. Empower yourselves with a good education. Then get out there and use that education to build a country worthy of your boundless promise. Lead by example with hope, never fear. And know that I will be with you, rooting for you and working to support you for the rest of my life. And that is true, I know, for every person who is here today, and for educators and advocates all across this nation who get up every day and work their hearts out to lift up our young people. And I am so grateful to all of you for your passion and your dedication and all the hard work on behalf of our next generation. And I can think of no better way to end my time as First Lady than celebrating with all of you. So I want to close the day by saying thank you. Thank you for everything you do for our kids and for our country. Being your First Lady has been the greatest honor of my life, and I hope I made you proud. Our hope for the future and the hard work that hope inspires. So that's my final message to young people as First.
Need I say more? I don't have anything else to say after that as it relates to our amazing First Lady. So we're going to keep going. The second person on our list is Ta-Nehisi Coates. Ta-Nehisi Coates. I think that's how you say it. Ta-Nehisi Coates. So who is he? Some of you guys may be asking, or you may or may not know who he is. He did this book. And in this book, he mainly speaking about Black history and Black men experience in this world. So his quote says, "You must resist the common urge toward comforting narrative of divine law toward fairy tales that imply some irrepressible justice. So his intellectual courage and the power of vulnerability when in his book where he goes so deep, he writes offering a penetrating work, a deep work at the, how complex race is in America. And to do that, you have to be pretty good understand have a pretty good understanding of EQ. He blended intellectual rigor with emotional authenticity and challenges, the status quo, the conventional narrative, the what everybody else is doing, what everybody else is believing, right? He shares a raw, very natural, personable reflection on history and, identity. And he invites you, when you read the book, to confront uncomfortable conversations, uncomfortable truths, developing you, pushing you to have a greater understanding of the people around you. So he's definitely there with empathy, definitely there with self-awareness. And then, lastly, provoking critical thought. Stop doing the surface level conversations, do the deep level conversations. His ability to be able to dissect systematic issues while maintaining a really good eye on being compassionate, exemplifying the integration of intellectual courage and emotional intelligence. So give him, if you guys don't know who he is, you should know who he is. Give him a go. And he wrote this book for his son to kind of show him his perspective on history throughout the years. It's really deep. It's really deep. And some hard truth, some hard uncomfortable truth, I should say. His book goes into. So I love that. Apart from having a really interesting approach to how to look at things and to stop pretending that they don't exist, that the hard truths and the pain that African American minorities have gone through in this country, it's a real thing. And you can try to prevent history from being taught in different places, but you can't. The facts are still the facts. The facts are still the facts, right? And that's how we're going to leave that one alone. Before we get to, I want to talk about the next person we're going to talk about is the wonderful Frederick Douglass. Of course, the late Frederick Douglass. His quote: "It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men." And when he says men there, he means women and men. Think about that. So he believes the same thing as it relates to Michelle Obama about, education, resilience, the power of character. He was a visionary educator. Douglass, he championed education as the foundation for personal, social empowerment, using knowledge to uplift those around him. Knowledge, they say knowledge is power. I say what you do with that information is power. So resilience and self-regulation, he embodied very much so, like Michelle Obama, the regulation, emotional regulation, rising from the brutal, very brutal realities of slavery back in the day during his time to becoming a leading voice of freedom, and immense emotional fortitude, stamina, all while transforming his own personal life and the people around him that call for change. Whether they agreed with him or not, he still did it. His commitment to social transformation, not only wanting to change himself and his views and his family and his friends, but the entire world. So his lifelong advocacy for equality and justice, was fueled by empathy and deep understanding of human dignity, making him a beacon of both intellectual and emotional strength. So he emphasized self regulation, part of emotional intelligence, empathy, and of course, self awareness. Because you need to be self aware to know your blind spots, to know who you are, to know how far you can go, and know that you can't take this message to the ends of the earth alone. You need others. You need others. So I have this video of, as it relates to Fergus Douglas. You're going to find it pretty interesting because I did. Let me see if it will play like the other one and we won't have any issues.
My name is Tandra Walden. I am a second grade teacher at Newington Forest Elementary School, and I am the great, great, great niece of Frederick Douglass. Knowing this has been more impactful in my life. I'm just floored by the type of person that he was. When I read about Frederick Douglass and the struggles that he's been in, and his curiosity and his desire to learn, it makes me want to do that for kids. Try to let them know that reading and their intelligence can open up such a big world for them. He has a quote that says, "Once you learn to read, you will forever be free." So I kind of think of that when I'm teaching. I really want for young people to have that drive and that desire and understanding of where they can go when they have the curiosity to learn. Every February when we do Black History Month, I always mention it to my students, and they are so excited. Like they're so much more excited than me, but they're like clapping, and they when they see him again in anything that they may see a publication, or if they see his picture, they remember that that's Ms. Walden's, ancestor. They are very excited. I'm hoping that as they get older, he will still be this figure that they remember from second grade, their teacher, teaching them that, not that he was just part of um, my family, but that he was just such an inspirational person that they can become like. So I think it's an honor to be a teacher. And I always express that with kids because I don't think they know. And I want them to know how important it is and how special it is to have an opportunity to learn. I like for other students that don't look like me to have an opportunity to have me as their teacher. Having the opportunity to teach Black history, American history to all kids, I think is a really special and important thing that I do in my career. And I have noticed that the kids, they just love it. They embrace it. And then when they hear things that a lot of Black kids and Black people went through, they have such empathy in their hearts. And I'm hoping that as they grow as an adult, that will stay there and remain, that human part of what they're feeling remains, so that they can make this world better through what they're learning from history, from our history, from Black history, from American history.
So there you have it, you guys. There you have it. It's um it's Frederick Douglass' great great, I think it's only two greats, great niece. And interestingly, she's a teacher. Isn't that cool? He is his quote we mentioned was about education. It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. And that is so true. That is so true. Don't let me get into this this statement alone. This is the quote alone. Because I always say, and I tell the husband all that the kids are an arrow. Wherever direction you point them in is where they're going to go. As a parent and as a caregiver of, kids, you got to be very careful of what you do around them, what you do and what you don't do, because they are paying attention. Don't think that, they're ignorant and because they're little, they don't understand. They understand more than you think they do. And they remember more than you think they do. They know what's going on. So give them the benefit of the doubt. So, as much as lies within you, try to remember that when you're interacting with when you have kids around you. And whatever impression you're trying to leave on them, it's gonna stay. Because that person, that little kid, that little boy is gonna grow up to be a man. And that man is going to have, you know, is going to have a family of their own. And at the end of the day, what you environment you bring them up in is the environment that they're going to probably mimic or not, because they're going to realize that what they were brought up in was probably not the best and they want to do something different, right? So it's having kids is one thing, but taking care of them and you know training them, coaching them, mentoring them, actually taking care of them, maintaining all that there is as it relates to taking care of kids. It's pretty deep, and I take it pretty seriously. And I hope you, as a, I'm not a parent, but you as a mother or father out there, that you take that stuff pretty serious, because those little girls and little boys grow up to be little, not little anymore, men and women. And you don't want to, think about your life as it relates to your experiences, your trauma, your all that you've been through. You don't want to leave that stuff with them, because they remember it. They remember. And when they do remember, what do you want them to remember when they're 30 years old? What do you want them to remember? So, food for thought. Food for thought. Because they're not going to do what you say, they're going to do what you do. Shocker. They're going to do what you do. So, the next person we're going to talk about here is, of course, Oprah. Remember, I said in the beginning that I could not number them? Is because I could not number them. I really could not number any one of these because, man, yeah, easier said than done. I could not number them because they're all goats. They're all amazing. They're all wonderful people. The ones that are still here with us on earth and the ones that are no longer. And they're still making an impact because, look, we're still talking about them. Okay, so Oprah's quote here, and I love her quote. She says, "You cannot be friends with someone who wants your life." I love this quote, and this is out of all the quotes, I picked this one, right? I picked this one. Oprah Winfrey's journey, with all that she'd been through as a little girl, to as a little child growing up, to becoming a global media icon. It was not for the lack of adversity, right? Transformative, boundaries and authentic relationships, very much in tune with self-awareness, self-regulation, social awareness, and relationship management. She covers all four of emotional intelligence, all four of them, right? From being, if you ever thought that showing people how you feel or being emotional, like they say, or thinking that it's for the weak, let Oprah Winfrey's journey be a lesson. Everything about her life is anything but weak. Think about all that she has talked about on her show early in her career. Oprah encountered a lot of course, individuals who didn't necessarily mean her well. So instead of rooting for her growth, they were rooting for her demise. They envied her success. Think about people in your life who is envying your success, who is pretending to be friends with you, pretending to be there. But in reality, when you turn your back, stuff, they're not real. They're not being authentic. She encountered people in her life that sought to control how she showed up, control her narrative, control her success. She realized very quickly that true friendship, uh, true friendship and mentorship requires genuine care and respect. She made a conscious decision when she realized that what was going on around her. She made a conscious decision to distance herself from those people. She put boundaries in place. We talk about boundaries on here all the time. Putting that line from those who were not there to root for her and to help her and to guide her and to, be a friend. They were there for the opposite. They were there for the good times, but not for the long haul. They were there to criticize. They were there to put her under their thumb. They were there to look down on her. They were there for not to build her up, but to tear her down. So she surrounded herself with people who encourage her, push her towards her unique vision. Oprah not only protected her emotional well-being, but she also paved the way for her transformative journey to influence others to do the same, creating healthy relationships, not being afraid on her show and in life to ask those hard questions and share those hard truths. She nurtured those around her, safeguarding their dreams, telling them they can do it. You can do it. You can do it. But you got to make sure that you have the right people around you because they can hurt you or they can help you. Hurt you or help you. Which one do you want? Which one are you going to make sure that you are addressing? Oprah's personal journey of overcoming adversity, is a testament to her ability to harness emotional pain and convert that pain that she had into a positive change. Emotional authenticity. She openly shared her struggles, her triumphs, her relationship with her mom. She talks about that. That's so deep. She creates a genuine connection. You see how she shared the authentic, naked truth, is what I call on here all the time. The naked truth about herself, not saying to air out your dirty laundry, but she shared parts of her story to let you see that one, it's your story. And I say that all the time on here. You can't do anything but to own your story. And owning your story is one of the greatest things you can do. Of all the knowledge you will attain in your life, knowing yourself, leaning into your story is your greatest achievement. So, whatever that story is, stop running away from it. That was your past. That is it. Lean into it. Let it be a catalyst for change and a catalyst to show others where you were and where you are today. Where you are today. Her role in media and a philanthropy, philanthropy demonstrated how leading with heart and emotional insight, social impact, inspiring millions to pursue their own growth and empowerment. So let that quote be a reminder to you that you cannot be friends with any and anybody. Your circle of friendship should be small. Should be small, because when you make it, when you are having you coming into some money, or you are a little bit more successful, you're going to want to make sure those people around you are strong, not for them but strong for you, that they won't that turn who they are into something that is not friends, that is not friendly. I mean, it's a hard thing, and a lot of people out here, we have a lot of people. It's good to have a lot. It looks good when you have a lot of people behind you and a lot of people helping you, but not a lot of people can handle success. Not a lot of people can handle when they fall down. It's just the cold hard truth, and you got to make sure that the people around you can handle it. Okay. So the last person we're going to talk about today, but definitely not least, is the wonderful John Lewis. John Lewis, I love his quote. I love his quote. I say it all the time. John Lewis says, never ever be friends. Never ever be afraid to make some noise and get into good trouble, necessary trouble. Of course, you guys know he is a champion of, you know, equality, uh, black rights, everything. He's, the late John Lewis, his courage, his empathy. We know him and remember him as good trouble. And good trouble means stand up for what you believe in. If you see someone being taken advantage of, stand up for them. That's good kind of trouble. He was countless in throughout his years. He was arrested so many times for fighting against, white supremacy, and just standing up for black black leaders, black people, minorities, for the right thing, for let's sitting down and getting into trouble and having sitting down and having common ground, not picking sides, but having a common ground. Let's sit down and have a conversation about this, whatever issue that we don't seem to agree on right now. But hopefully by the end of this conversation, we can agree, right? John Lewis consistently demonstrated emotional strength by standing up to injustice despite facing physical danger. He was put in prison, beaten, didn't matter. He got in it because it spoke to him. That is part. You got to stand for something, right? And as the saying goes, if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. So his commitment to nonviolent protests was rooted in deep, deep empathy, for his community, and the belief in a fair, just society, that you can live here and I can live here despite of where we came from and what we look like. So he had his strategic leadership through his role in civil rights movement. John Lewis, he inspired millions by turning personal sacrifice into a catalyst for national change, showing how understanding and managing collective emotions can drive a movement. Would you do something like that? What are you standing up for today? What are you standing up for today? You got to stand for something. Just think about that. Never, ever be afraid to make some noise and get in good trouble. His unwavering morals, compass, and authenticity built trust with the people in the government on both sides of the aisle. He created a lasting legacy. Emotional, intelligent leader, if I could ever say there was one, John Lewis. So that's our conversation for today, you guys. That's how we're going to end this. Like, get in good kind of trouble. Have the right people around you. Ensure that you are investing intentionally into your kids, or the people that are the kids that are in your life, right? Whether your nieces, your cousins, whatever it is, make sure that you are living a good example because they're watching you. And then with Ta-Nehisi Coates, make sure that we're not just talking surface level conversation, that we're going deep into uncomfortable territory, and be okay with having those deep uncomfortable territory questions as it relates to race, as it relates to injustices that happens around us. And of course, don't let people get you out of character. Don't let people get you out of character. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't fall for it. Because what happens is that then you are allowing the environment and the people in your environment to dictate how you show up. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay. So that's our emotional intelligence leaders list. 15 individuals, and I'll see you guys next week. I have a wonderful guest for you guys. You're going to have to come and see to know who it is. And we're going to keep this conversation going. Thank you guys so much for showing up. Thank you for being here, and I will see you guys next week. Remember, get in the good kind of trouble. Bye, you guys.